Hello, hello everyone. My name is Dr. DeShaun Williams, and I'm your host for the Founders Table podcast. And today we have Miss Kimberly Parry on the show. Miss Kimberly is a personal stylist and certified master professional coach who combines fashion styling with personal and professional development tools to help her clients gain clarity on their life goals and develop the inner and outer confidence to reach them. She uses fashion as a practical tool to help people define their signature soul style, build powerful personal brands, and create success that feels as good as it looks. So, without further ado, let's welcome Miss Kimberly Parry. How are you doing today?
I am doing so good, and I'm excited to be here with you today.
It's absolutely amazing and it's an honor to have you on the show today. Before we actually get started into the topic, when you had first submitted to be on the show, I was like, who is this? Like I've never heard of something done of this nature. And so I, of course, do my due diligence, went and researched you, went to your website, and I was like, oh, she's definitely a good fit for the show. So for anyone that's wondering, yes, all guests are vetted. But enough about that. I wanted to ask you, when it came down to um, opening up your company, Emergence Life Coaching, what did that look like?
It looked pretty dismal, actually. A lot of entrepreneurs, and if you follow social media and see the quit your 9 to 5 and live the dream and follow your passion, that actually wasn't me. I was a W 2 employee, I was an academic, I taught college courses for 16 years, and I absolutely loved it. Never thought I'd leave it until life moved me in a different direction. It was about 2 months after my son was born. And I was on the phone with a friend one day and we were talking, and it was like a neurological bomb went off. Just in the middle of the conversation, the right side of my body went numb. I couldn't talk. I had words in my head, but they wouldn't come out of my mouth. Um, so, hearing that, a lot of people think, oh, you were having a stroke. Well, it wasn't a stroke. It's turned out to be 9 rare, incurable chronic illnesses. And that was in 2016. So it was before remote work, before work from home was a thing. In fact, I was married at the time. My ex husband asked to be able to work from home and was denied that. Ironically, right after we finalized our divorce, the whole remote work thing became a thing. So suddenly he was working from home a couple days a week. Um, but I was on a bed in my living room and having to figure out, as a recently divorced, chronically ill single mom who had a background in religious education that didn't really translate into corporate, I had to figure out how to take care of my kids. And the option, the one door that was available to me, was the one thing that I said I never wanted to do. And that was to become an entrepreneur. And it has been soul growth that 16 years of religious ed, pales in comparison. What I've learned as an entrepreneur has stretched me in beautiful and hard ways.
So I'm gonna show my age of how young I am. 2016 was the year that I graduated high school.
Oh, I love it. And congratulations as a
Thank you.
graduate. You probably could have been one of my college students right before things blew up. So,
Well, I went back to college after dropping out a few times, but I just recently got my associate's degree in business management back here in December. So and I was like, you know what? And as you stated, remote work wasn't going on at the time.
nope.
Um, it was not something that you even thought of. You didn't think it was going to be, um, you didn't think it was ever going to happen because even people in call centers were still working out of the office.
Yes. Yep.
So, and then COVID-19 happened and the whole world shifted. So,
And I
yeah,
found myself homeschooling 3 young kids. My youngest was in kindergarten. And so that was all hands on deck time for a single mom.
I I give all the parents props that was able to um, do the schooling and everything during COVID because I know it was not easy.
No, and ironically, it's one of those other things I always said. I swore I would never be a homeschooling mom. And apparently the universe likes to hear anything I say I'll never do and turn it back around and make me eat my words. So
What's the line? Never say never.
yeah, and if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right?
Right.
So,
And so you, I know that you stated that, you were going through this very difficult time and you vowed that you would never become an entrepreneur, which, how many people actually, maybe I was just that weird person that says, you know what, I want to be an entrepreneur. But then again, I also want to be a professional wrestler when I grew up. Granted,
that could still happen. That could
granted, I
still
got to
happen.
get,
Don't say never.
I mean, granted, I did get to live out that dream for 2 years, 3 years. So it happened, but nowhere in my plans did I really have to, um, say, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur and this is why I want to do it. Um, so you started your business around 2017, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And when you started your business in 2017, was there a lot of noise that was going on in the world around entrepreneurship?
Well, I was raised, again, we're bringing age into this podcast, but I was raised by parents who were raised by parents who survived the Great Depression. And my grandparents had lived in small towns. I actually, on both sides of my family, I have first generation immigrants as grandparents. And so the work hard, save big, risk averse lack mentality ran strong in my family. And so I'd been raised in a culture that had said entrepreneurship is a risk, it's scary, unless you have a lot of business experience, unless you have a lot of background, don't do it. And so the noise was actually really strong. And then I think as a female, also, culturally, being raised in a very religious culture in, an older generation, the message was you need a man to take care of you. I think I was kind of a disappointment to my parents. Well, my mom especially, because they sent me to college. My mom sent me to college with an expectation I'd get married, right? She wanted me to get my MRS degree, and I ended up getting 3 academic degrees, and I think it kind of disappointed that I got married a little bit later. And so there was a lot of noise and discouragement actually at the time, at least in my own life, around starting a business. And so not only was I doing it when it was something that I hadn't planned, and that's not a path I recommend for most people. If you want to become an entrepreneur, having that excitement and enthusiasm and drive, I think, is necessary for getting the plane off the runway. But yeah, I had a lot of opposition, a lot of noise I had to work through as far as can I make it work, believing in myself, figuring out how to make it happen, especially when I was in the middle of a lot of life transition at the same time.
Gotcha. And, you know, growing up, because I was raised by my grandparents, and when I first became an entrepreneur myself, I, I think one of the first things that my grandmother said was, "Why can't you be like a normal person and just go out there and work?" And over the years, she's changed that perspective, and she's like, "You've worked for everything that you've achieved and where you're at now." It's like the whole 180 that happened because it some understand like this isn't the world that they grew up in.
Yep.
Some don't know if I can speak for that. So,
Yeah.
um, and then I just want to highlight one thing because for the ones that won't be able to see this, but on your wall, it has definitely caught my attention, the butterflies. For everyone that's listening to this episode, right behind her, she has butterflies, and she also has her degrees up on the wall. And then she has Emergence with a butterfly as well. So, what does the butterfly symbol when it comes to Emergence Life Coaching?
When I started my business, that is what it was all about. Life knocked me to my knees. And as I was rebuilding my life, at the time I was being told, and science actually still says, with the conditions that I have, usually where your symptoms start is your starting point, and then they progress, they get worse. And so I had no clue what my quality of life was going to look like. I had no clue what I was going to do. And so when you talk about the dark night of the soul, that's where I was. But in that place was where I came to know myself intimately, because I knew my symptoms could come and go. I knew they were likely, according to science, going to get worse. According to science, I should be either dead or in a wheelchair right now. And so moving forward and coming out of that and gaining the confidence and clarity around my life purpose, my life vision is what I felt was what I was here to give to other people. All of my background in education, all of my background in religious education, everything in my life experience had brought me to a point where I could teach and help others come to know their core personality, come to get clear and confident in what they came here and are here to do, and to help them move forward. And I've done that in different ways throughout my entrepreneurial journey. But the butterfly was absolutely a representation of all of that, that from the darkness can come absolute beauty and you can soar higher than you ever imagined. But it just looks dark in the process of transformation.
You know, as you was saying that, it made me think about one of my biggest fears, caterpillars. I am afraid of caterpillars, but when they become butterflies, I have no problem with them. But it's the transformation that is, it's a transformation that I guess captures my attention. And I don't know what it was about a caterpillar that always scared the living daylights out of me, but seeing them go through that transformation, seeing them go through that cocoon, and they're in there in that darkness, and um, then they have to, then as they transform into the butterfly, they have to be able to be strong enough to break through that cocoon.
It's what allows them to live and to thrive. Like, if you, the same with birds when they're in
Right.
the egg, or if anyone who's ever raised chickens or hatched chickens as part of an Easter project at school, sometimes you want to help the little chicken, right? They're trying to get out, and you think, oh, maybe I should help them. But that actually is a disservice and a disadvantage. Part of the strength that they need to live and to sustain life is breaking through that barrier. And I think I mean, we're going to get deep a little bit here, but I think all of us are a little scared of our inner caterpillar, right? I think a
Yeah.
little bit of us fear that, or fear the hairy, hairy little chubby caterpillar that you see, but we're not scared of the butterfly. We just don't always know how to get there.
Right. And, change can be scary, but at the same time, it can be beautiful if you allow it to happen.
Yeah.
And, it's this analogy, this story that I've heard one of my former pastors say. There was this kid that saw the caterpillar and it was in the cocoon, and the little kid thought that it was struggling to break through the cocoon, so he broke it, and ultimately the butterfly was not able to survive because he did not get to the strength that he needed. And I think a lot of times in life, it's okay to have that support system, but sometimes you have that support system that wants to do everything for you, or you want someone to do everything for you. And when it's time for you to take over, you don't have the quote unquote strength. or knowledge to be able to withstand everything that comes your way because we both know that running a business is not easy.
Nope.
There's, and for anyone that had a business pre-COVID and was not ready for anything that COVID brought our way, it definitely shifted the world.
Oh, yeah. And
So,
AI is doing that now. I mean, we're
yes.
going through that again. So,
And it's scarier now because now you have to really be on top of things to know what's authentic and what's being curated by ChatGPT and all the other AI tools, Meta AI. Are the pictures real? Are they generated? Are the flyers real? Are they generated? So it's definitely, and then you also have college students that are going through college, and just because they got that degree doesn't mean they learned a single thing because they could have been using AI to write their papers, their discussion boards. And I will tell you, nobody lies more than a college student in a discussion board
as
because
someone who taught college, hmm
because a lot of times we probably didn't like your viewpoint on something, but we're gonna say that we did.
oh yeah,
Um,
because you want the grade. It's
yes,
survival and trust. As a teacher, we were not unaware.
yeah. It's always
Was
knowing
not under any false assumptions there.
it's always knowing who's really lying about the fact that they like the point of view, especially with me. Oh, I like your point of view, but let me ask you this question.
Okay.
So that's always me when it comes to discussion boards. I like your point of view, but and in life and in business, you're always gonna have that person that's gonna be, I like this idea, but so there's always a but in it. And I do have one, I do have several questions I want to ask you as we get ready to wrap up today. The first question, and this question comes because a lot of people will take advice from people like this. If someone was to give you advice on how to, say you're just starting your business and you're asking people for advice, but the person that gives you the advice was someone that gave up on their own dreams and their own aspirations, what would you do with that advice?
I am one, I have received, as a divorcee, as someone with chronic illness, I have received a lot of unsolicited feedback on what I should do with my parenting, on what I should do with my life, on what I should do with my health, on what I should do with my business. So that is something I've had a lot of experience with. And I will say, especially for entrepreneurs, finding good mentors and getting feedback, getting advice from people that you trust, from people who are experienced, can absolutely help accelerate your process, can help accelerate your knowledge. And I like to and instead of but in those situations, because I will say, even with some of the most experienced entrepreneurs, their advice is what worked for them, and it's not always an exact fit for what's going to work for you, especially when it comes to strategy. If you're talking social media strategy, marketing strategy, things like that, everybody has their own unique personality. It's what I call your signature soul style. And style isn't just about how you look, it's how you bring yourself to the world. It's how you communicate who you are to the world. You've got a communication style, you've got a business style, you've got a management style, right? All of that is your style. And so when you're taking feedback, I would say you got to run it against a gut check. Number one, check the source of the information. Do you trust them? And are they someone who is either who you want to be or where you want to go? If not, their advice might not get you where you want to go, right? So check the source of the information and then check your gut. Is it resonating with something that feels authentic to you? And that's different than the fear of, ooh, I'm being pushed out of my comfort zone, because you will get pushed out of your comfort zone. But there's a difference between, oh, I gotta grow, I gotta stretch, right? That feeling of going down a roller coaster versus a feeling of no, right? That feeling of this is not right for me. That is deep in your gut. And I guarantee you, if you ignore that, it will not turn out well for you. So those are the two things I'd say. So thank you for your advice. And I got to check my gut.
Right. And I know you probably saw the facial expression I made when you mentioned roller coaster. I used to
Yep.
work at a theme park. I used to work at Cedar Point Amusement Park
Okay.
in Ohio, and I was a ride operator. And as a ride operator, I had a fear of roller coasters.
I'm
That
just bringing up
changed.
all your fears today.
That changed instantly because as a ride operator, you have to test the rides before you ever open it up to the guests. So I had to test the rides. And on one roller coaster, I was on the front row.
Oh, wow.
So I saw when we dropped, I saw when we got ready to go upside down and all. So definitely that got me out the comfort zone. But, as you stated, it's as an entrepreneur, going into entrepreneurship, you're gonna get pushed out of the comfort zone because you're gonna see things that you didn't think that you was gonna see. You're gonna witness things, you're gonna hear things, you're gonna end up doing things that you never thought possible. If you never got told no growing up as an entrepreneur, you're definitely gonna get told no.
Learn to
Um,
embrace it.
and sometimes you're gonna hear 100 no's before you get that first yes. Sometimes you'll get that yes, and then you'll get 100 no's right after it.
Yep.
You just have to continue moving forward. You can't let it get you down. Um, and then I have another question, and this question is, it's kind of where the focal point is. Do you think when you have new entrepreneurs coming into the field, we know that motivation isn't a problem. It's great to have that motivation, but do you think that when it comes down to it, that there needs to be more motivation or more structure or a
I think,
combination of both?
yeah, that is a great question. And again, going back to signature soul style, I would say it depends on the person. I say it's like Walt Disney and Roy Disney. There's dreamers, and a lot of dreamers are led to entrepreneurship, right? Because you can see things that don't exist yet. You've got a vision, you've got a passion to create, but inspiration without implementation doesn't really get anywhere. And Walt Disney was a dreamer. He had a vision of what he wanted to create, and he had all these dreams and enthusiasm and passion, but he didn't do it by himself. His brother Roy was the implementer. He was the one who knew the books, who knew the system. He was the one who got operating permits and got all of those processes together. So Walt without Roy would never have been able to create Disneyland. And some people are blessed to have both sides within them. I'm more of a Walt, and I've needed to hire mentors. I've needed to surround myself with Roys who could help me. I had my dream, I had my vision, but they kept my feet on the ground and kept my feet moving in the steps that I needed to take to move forward. And sometimes the Roys can see, they've got a structural process or a structural mind that says, oh, here's an idea that could work. I could make money in this. But if you don't have a way to communicate it and sell your vision and get people on board and get them excited about it, you can have a really great idea that falls flat because you can't sell it. Right. And so, again, check your gut, look in with yourself. And if you've got a lot of dream and vision and passion for entrepreneurship, recognize I got to have a map. I got to get a mentor. I got to get someone who can help me implement this and then take those steps to make the work become the vision.
Absolutely. And, it's okay to have those, as you said, those roars that's around you because a lot of people come into entrepreneurship and they think, oh, I need to have it figured out. I have to do everything on my own. Now, granted, some don't have that big budget to hire everyone else to come in, but it is okay to outsource what you can
Mhm.
so that you're
And
not
and I was a single mom, right? I was a chronically ill single mom. I was broke as a joke. And so I didn't have the money to invest. But as an entrepreneur, you got to learn, you pay a price and you either pay with time or money, right?
right.
You pay with time and experience or you pay with money. And both work at different speeds, right? And you can do it. But like you said, you don't need to do it alone. So in this day and age, we've got AI, we've got YouTube, we've got so many resources, but you got to find the Roy and recognize what your weakness is and fill that gap.
Most definitely. And I will go to say YouTube has probably helped me a lot more as someone who didn't know how to work, didn't know how to do certain things on vehicles. You can go on YouTube and you can find a tutorial on how to do something.
Yeah.
So YouTube is
Which is a
definitely,
very blessed age for
yes.
entrepreneurship, honestly.
And so it's definitely grateful. I'm definitely grateful to have that. I don't use it all the time, but when I need it, it's there. And then, as you said, AI is here, and it's a great tool to use. But honestly, that's all it should be used for. It should be used as a tool to help you get your ideas structured out, laid out, but it should not be used to do everything from start to finish because AI isn't perfect. It is going to make mistakes, and it's probably going to make more mistakes than what you would make as a human. And plus, it gives you that disclaimer at the bottom that says, this may not be correct. So please go back and fact check. And as we come to the close today, I just I want to give you the time to spotlight your business and highlight maybe something that you would like to share with the audience, a product or service. Um, So definitely, um, I want to give you that time.
Well, thank you very much. And again, I am Kimberly Parry. I'm the founder of Emergence Life Coaching. You can find me at emergencelifecoaching.com, or I am on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, Kimberly Parry Speaker. So you can follow me on social media. You can look me up on my website. My signature program for professional women who want to take their look and their life and their style to the next level is what I do. My clients know me as your real life fairy godmother. I use fashion as a tool to help my clients get clear on their goals, to gain the inner and outer confidence to reach them, and build a powerful personal brand that helps them achieve and attract the success that they want. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please come find me. I look forward to talking to you and getting to know you.
Absolutely. And I did forget that on your website it says your real life fairy godmother. And the first thing that came to my mind was the fairy godmother from Shrek. And I was like, she was like she's always there. And I don't know why, but I guess that was the movie of my generation. So
Well, and
it's
I've
there.
got the glasses and
So definitely thank you for being on the show today. Um, and for everyone listening, I hope that you definitely got a lot of information, valuable information from this episode. And you can definitely connect with Miss Kimberly. I'll have all of her information in our show notes and in our description. And remember that, this is just the beginning. So definitely stay tuned to the Founders Table as we continue to have more guests on. And remember that this is not goodbye, but this is until next time. I'm your host, Dr. DeShaun Williams, and we'll see you next week.